Yes, hello everybody. dragonka3n. I did Legend Glitchless 100% yesterday. This time we will be doing Angel of Darkness. This game, pretty infamous, obviously. We're gonna try to play it as intended as possible with some clever shortcuts here and there. Just mainly abusing intended mechanics to go faster.
Intended, he says.
Yes. With me on the couch, on the virtual couch, if you will, I have Tech,
Hello, everyone.
known as Tekwa, who currently has the unofficial world record for this category, because he hasn't submitted his run yet, because he wants a better time. And he is also infamous for completing this game with only a mouse.
Which I highly do not recommend.
Alright. Is everything good to go?
Yeah, good to go on this end.
Alright, timer will start as soon as you see Lara, as soon as the game fades in. So I will still do a countdown though.
Okay.
So
I also like how your menu is in Japanese.
Go. So right off the bat, you can notice that we're not exactly doing what the devs wanted you to. We're just taking some clever shortcuts here and there to bypass some stuff because of things like this. The game really wants to teach you how to play, but we do not care about that.
Just very quick, we had $10 from Catalina saying, "Love you guys and good luck." Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kat. I love you too.
Thank you.
Alright, bit of a slip there, but we're fine. So what's interesting is the reason why we're trying to avoid all these tutorial dialogues is because they stop you from moving unless you mash action, and sometimes even then they do. They're kind of strange actually. And here's a very interesting jump. You can get past that barrel like so. Then we're gonna do an interesting set of moves, and we are past the first level. Just like that. So you might have noticed that my subtitles are not exactly English. Nor was my menu. So I'm playing on the Japanese version, and there are usually two reasons for that. Number one, in a normal speedrun, is it is simply the fastest version because the dialogues are just a few seconds faster each, and it can make a difference in runs. The more important factor for me, though, however, especially for this marathon, is this version is just simply the most stable version of the game and has the least crash points, at least amount of crash points. So we'll take what we can get, pretty much. So you can see in the bottom right hand corner right now, for example, that blue icon, that means quick save. I'm quick saving a lot. It's a very nice feature in the game. You can quick save whenever and wherever you want. And it will load you in exactly where you last saved. Okay, that was kind of stressful. I wasn't sure if I was going to make that, but we're good. So
Also,
interestingly enough, you can... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say it was also worth to mention that you have to be careful when you save, And make sure you don't load a save whilst in the air.
Yes, yes, you do. Because that actually counts as a glitch as it boosts your momentum. So, again, small shortcut. We don't have to climb that ladder. That jump is actually very, very difficult. That second try is very good. And now we have the highlight of the run, as everybody knows.
Evil night to be out alone, Miss Croft. Our streets are not safe anymore.
Mademoiselle Carvier, I have just come from Werner's apartment.
And how is Werner?
I'm afraid Werner is dead.
So just an interesting thing about
Can I get
some
you?
conversations like this one.
What happened?
It's really vague. I
You
received
have
his
to
paper
pick
today from London. He was babbling with fear.
as many nice options as you can,
He did. I never
mostly.
expected that.
Otherwise,
Not
she will
after
not
Egypt.
give you the notebook, which is why you came here
Since then, he's been
in the first
acting
place.
strangely, jumping at shadows.
It's Werner's notebook that we're talking about.
Who was the commission from?
The client's name was Erkhardt. He wanted Werner to research something called the Obscura paintings. Werner approached me at my department at the Louvre.
Were you able to help him?
A little, I think. Poor
Most
Werner
of
was
the time you can actually just press the top option and it's perfectly fine, but
He felt he was being
some of them you have to pay
Where were
attention,
The
select a
monster was
different
running
one.
around Paris, according to the press.
Werner left a package here with me. I was to give it to you if anything happened to him.
Do you know what it is?
It's his field notebook.
If he left his notebook, he was spooked.
You still
I
have
selected the
it?
wrong one, but that's completely fine.
We argued. I can remember that. And gunfire.
Gunfire. Werner was shot.
To be honest, I'm not sure if that counts as a rude answer, because there are rude answers and non-rude answers in dialogues,
I strongly suggest that you talk to the police.
but I do not think that one actually counts. But we're still gonna play it safe, don't worry.
I didn't kill him. I didn't.
If you say so.
Do you have the notebook?
I do. It's
It
The thing
shouldn't really
is,
make too much of a
I
difference.
really am going to need Werner's notebook.
yeah, and the thing is, the reason why you need to pay attention is because if you pick two or more rude answers,
I think you better leave, Miss Croft.
she will not give you the notebook and you will have to look for it yourself in the apartment. And it takes a few seconds. It's always in the same place, but it's still time loss. And now we're in the Parisian ghetto. And we are looking for a person called Louis Bouchard. We want some answers from him. And we're going to visit his hideout. So as you just saw there, you can hold a jump during a running jump, and Lara will keep jumping on stairs without any sort of delay after she landed. Pretty much a bunny hop. And here we do a very sneaky little curve jump here. It actually looks very dangerous, and if you mess it up, it does lose you a lot of time, but it's not the hardest thing in the world. It is still tricky, though. So another sort of precise thing we're gonna do here. Jump over that fence. That fence actually has a deceptively big hitbox and is very easy to just bonk into it. Luckily, we got over it just perfectly.
I feel.
And now we're already in Bouchard's hideout, and we might get the answers we want soon. And here, Lara loves to tell you that she can climb certain walls. And she will not rest until you know. So here's a rat. And rats can get pretty annoying in this game, actually. Luckily, he didn't attack me. If they attack you, you get stunned. And they can actually keep attacking you for a while if you're really unlucky, and you'll just get stuck by only moving a few pixels at a time, and it's very frustrating and very slow. And you're basically just completely at the mercy of RNG at that point. And now we're coming up to the second conversation in the game. Here I only have to watch out for the first option I select.
What happened to your man in the room out there, Bouchard?
To Arno? You've got something to say about that?
Maybe. It might be linked to what happened to a friend of mine.
I doubt it. Get her out of here.
Do you know the name Eckhart?
Never heard of him.
Okay. You helped a friend of mine a while back. Werner von Croy.
Names don't mean a lot here. Even real ones. What did he want?
Maps and information on the Louvre.
I remember, 4 weeks ago.
I just love how it's Japanese subtitles for English voice acting.
Easy, Bouchard.
Yes, everybody can learn Japanese under this 2-hour run.
There was a newscast about
Easy as 1, 2, 3, of
killing
course.
earlier. What
So
did
right
you know
there,
about it?
if I pick the wrong option at the first
It's quite
opportunity,
how much the monstrum interests me.
at the very end of the conversation, we actually get a cutscene where Bouchard shoots Lara and we get a game over, so we have to pay attention to not choose the wrong option for the first time. The rest is pretty much whatever,
And
though.
more. I need 9mm protection, backpack, plastic explosive, stun packs. Paris isn't safe these days.
Who for? You obviously can't take care of yourself.
Do you have what I need?
I know who does. Daniel Ren works out of the pawnbrokers on the corner of the Rue Saint-Marc and Cour la Seine.
What would you suggest?
A trade. I have to get certain things into his hands. Passports. You could deliver them for me.
Why not have one of your men deliver your passports?
I have no one to spare.
What happened to your man in the sick room back there? Was he delivering packages for you too?
Poor Arno. One of my toughest. The only survivor of 4 attacks so far.
Attacks? By who?
An interesting question. We don't know for sure.
Yeah, Lara has a cool
The
voice
Paris
actress.
monstrum, perhaps.
We're looking into that.
I like all of
You should
Lara's
take care.
voices, to be
An
honest.
automatic would help. You sold my friend.
They're
von
always
Croy
pleasant
some
to
hardware.
listen to.
I need the same.
That was then. We need all the fire.
And I feel like in
we can
general,
get. I
voice
understand
acting
that.
in Tomb Raider is pretty
Is it a
good,
deal?
Okay, deal.
with a few notable exceptions for characters. So right there, what you just saw me do is, well, we don't really have a name for it in the community, but whilst the game is showing you your goal pretty much as to like where to go next or what to do, sometimes you can actually move Lara blindly while the game is not focusing the camera on her. And we can get a little help as to when to start controlling her if we keep pretty much spamming the quick save button, as you just saw me do there again. So pretty much when you're not allowed to move Lara, the quick save icon will be crossed out by a red X. And as soon as it is not crossed out, you will know that you can actually control Lara, so it's very useful. Because as soon as the game allows you to save, you also know that you can control Lara, because that's just how the game works. So that right there was just a little stunt. All of us do it pretty much. And now we're in Ren's pawn shop, which press F for anyone that runs BTG, because this is everybody's favorite level. No kappa. I promise.
Confirm.
Totally not random at all. In said category.
Werner,
Nothing wrong with it in this one, though. So here I'm just using crouch to pick up these items because it's just much shorter. Normally, if you keep pressing action while you're standing, Lara like adjusts her position to get closer to every single item. But if you're crouching, she doesn't care and she just picks them up in place. So it's way faster. And we have escaped the pawn shop ambush. So you might have seen that a pistol appeared in my holster. Oh, that was a bit unlucky.
That drain pipe will
So you can actually select weapons without going into the menu by using weapon cycle up and or weapon cycle down buttons. So I have weapon cycle up bound to a key, and I can just activate my guns whenever I want to and switch between them without having to go to the menu. It's very handy. So right here there's a short ladder, but you know, who cares? We can just climb up straight to the actual platform. Cat, you keep forgetting that it's glitchless? Well, I just have to hope that I don't, because it would be very awkward if I did. Alright, so the goal of this level is to activate all these valves, and that will turn off waterfall at the top, so we can proceed to the next section where we can blow a hole into the wall and get into the louver's basement, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure it is said at every marathon where AOD is present, but you know, just in case you guys don't know, that is the only way to get to the Louvre. I can confirm it personally. This is the only way to get to the Louvre and visit it. So right here we're actually going to abuse the quick save strategy again, but not quite yet. So you can see that I can already move Lara, but I will not move her yet. I will wait for the water level to rise up, because otherwise we would die from fall damage if we try to roll into it. But we're fine now, and we can swim down into the next area to activate some more valves. And this is one of the chillest levels of the run, I would say. Do you agree, Tech?
I agree, but I've had some bad experiences here. For example, when I try to time the jump into the water and Lara just falls through the water and just dies. I've lost
Yeah,
many of them to that.
Yeah, that can get very frustrating if you're trying to do it absolutely optimally. But it doesn't save that much time, does it?
It's a couple of seconds. It's nothing major, so
There you
I
have
would
it.
say it's worth it.
Well, I guess it is, yeah, but I suppose not for a marathon.
Yeah, it also looks cool because it's literally either frame perfect or dead, depending on how well you time it.
That is also true. So we're actually coming up to a very difficult jump. But I got it first try.
I can climb up on that.
So this is the last valve that we had to activate. Oops. So here I was kind of completely blindly controlling Lara, and I got a bit carried away. It's all good though. Luckily, because of the quick save and quick load system, it's very, very easy to just reload and you don't lose that much time.
I'd better be
So right there you saw me doing a small trick. If you pull your gun out, Lara will not try to grab any ledge. And you can drop down very quickly from pretty much any platform. And yet again, I actually had to... well, actually I didn't have to control Lara blind, but I had to line her up perfectly. Otherwise I would hit the wall there and just kind of... that's fine, I'll take it. And then the water gets all oily and you just kind of die in it. And sadly, there's no way to reload out of that. If you die to fall damage, you can reload immediately, but for some reason, if you die in water, you have to wait out the entire death animation in order to be able to reload. It's pretty stupid, sadly.
Well,
Loses a lot of time and frustrates
here.
every single runner that it happens to. And I'm pretty sure everyone has experienced it. So now we're in the laser room, which is actually one of the most fun rooms for me to do. Kind of challenging, but once you get it down, it's not that bad.
Unless your game crashes mid-jump.
That is also true. And if you guys are wondering, yes, that can happen. For me, it's a very rare, but for tech, it happens quite often, sadly. And sadly, I just activated a laser. And the game is normally supposed to show you a cutscene, but if you bonk into a wall, it just focuses on Lara instead. It's pretty stupid. So that happened because I didn't line myself up perfectly, and that jump at the end is pretty tight. Yeah, the room is not that bad. It's just like this frustration factor that if you activate a laser, it seems like you're losing a lot of time. In reality, it's only about 10 seconds, I would say, but it's just very annoying because you know that you did a big dum-dum. Oops. Well, I don't know what Lara was targeting there. Alright, calm down. So, fun little fact over here. There's a laser right in front of this door. Well, it's attached to the camera. It's like this detection mechanism, and if you hit it, or if you like go in its range, then it will spawn a guard behind you, but you can avoid it if you see where it is. It can be hard to see, but if you know that it's there, you'll notice it pretty easily, probably, and you can just avoid it. And that will leave you with one less guard to worry about. It's just a louverture. I like that. I'm the kind of person that actually enjoys puns. They're kind of a meme, but I actually legitimately laugh at them a lot of the times as well. I don't hear them that often, though. A good pun can catch you off guard and just be like, okay, that was really bad, but well played. Ah, that's unfortunate. So there's a very precise jump. You can jump straight to the platform, this one, the darker one, but it's not that easy. I laugh at everything. How dare you? That's also kind of a precise jump. It's not that bad, but it's pretty easy to mess up because of the weird camera angle and all the weird collision around you that can just stop you. Also, it's easy to panic because you're on pretty thin platforms. And if you don't maneuver yourself correctly, the game can also crash, by the way. But it's not that bad. It's only if you get to the very edge of the, well, for me at least, it's only if you get to the very edge of the platform where I just grab that zip line. Tech probably has some other experiences though.
For me, the game can crash literally anywhere on this level. We have many clips of it.
Yes, we do. So if I did everything correctly here, the guard actually got stuck, the guard that was behind me. And so he did. Nice. So basically what happens here is you kind of confuse the guard, and they like to run around in circles as soon as they notice you. And then finally they decide to run after you. And while they're still running in circles, at least this particular guard, he can, as he's running in a circle, he just kind of runs into that room, and since he cannot complete a full circle, he just gets stuck on the wall and keeps walking forward. And that just means we don't have to deal with him. Very convenient. So right there I did a quick little walk jump. Walk jumps are slower and smaller than running jumps, and they pretty much just help you with making jumps that would be or making jumps through gaps that would be too small for a running jump.
It's
And
also
right
good
there,
to mention that running jumping is the fastest way of moving since we do not have sprint yet.
yes, that is pretty important. And right here I will do it again, because if you do a complete running jump there, you will bonk into the wall, and that loses you some time. It's not that much, but it's something that you can keep in mind. And right here I'm going to do something kind of risky. I'm going to avoid these guards altogether. So right as he gets into position to shoot me, I start jumping, and that makes him just kind of reconsider shooting me. But also, even if he does shoot you, two things can happen if you're in the air in the middle of a running jump as you get shot at. You either take no damage, or you take some damage but you don't get stunned. And both of those situations are perfectly fine for me. And right here, you're supposed to do this long, complex puzzle. But if you get into this area the same way I just did, through that, like above that fence, if you side jump, I mean side flip, you can actually just turn the lever 8 times, and that will complete the puzzle. It only works if you enter it from the same position I did, though. It's very weird. And this is probably one of the most exciting levels to watch in this category, I would say. And this is also where the difficulty kind of scales up, I would say. Or at least it starts to. So immediately, we abuse that we can bonk into things and then grab them. Normally you're supposed to climb down here, and it takes a long time, but you can just kind of like do that sort of precise small hop and just bonk into that thing and grab it. It's a very small window to actually grab it, so you have to time your action press very well. And that can happen as well if your position is not just right with these. But there you go. And we like to refer to these shortcuts as yeet jumps for obvious reasons. I actually found these, but Tech has also helped with some ideas for optimization. And he also has his own strats for the second half of this level, which I'm approaching. Which is just basically getting to the lever that's in front of me.
Will you do them, or
Above me.
are you going to play it safe or do my strats?
I'm going to do my strat.
Oh, I'm interested.
My strat is actually slightly slower than Tech's, but it is safer and just basically ensures that you don't mess anything up as long as you remember the setup. That also kind of looks cool. So once again, I'm going to abuse the quick save strat. And this is what it looks like. And there we go. We got down all the way to the bottom.
Nice.
Thanks to that beautiful little setup. So we're actually not going to pick up any ammo here because there's a convenient place where you can pick up an ammo if you are good at the game. And it will actually not lose any time at all. And this is an interesting little trap room. If you do this sequence that I'm doing and you do it correctly, then you should only get shot by the darts once, as you just saw me there. Oh, that was an interesting bonk. But I'll take it. And that's Tomb of the Ancients. And now we're moving on to Hall of Seasons, which is arguably the hardest level of the game. Or hardest section, rather. It is built up from multiple smaller challenge rooms / challenge levels. You have to do 4 challenge rooms, then get down into the basement, and then climb all the way to the top to fight a ghost boss.
Which
right
one
there,
is
you.
your favorite?
Which one's my favorite? Kind of a difficult question, actually. It might be the water one. This one.
I agree.
It's just very well designed and looks very cool. It's also the least tedious, probably. There is some RNG involved, though. And it's thanks to this lovely little skeleton who can shoot a fireball at us if we are unlucky. And it can happen so that right as you get up from the water, he will shoot his fireball, and there's nothing you can do to avoid it. There is not that big of a chance of happening, but it can happen, and it's very annoying. It's pretty much just reset if you get that. And right there, I just did a kind of a tricky swan dive. It's kind of hard to place. And right here, what's interesting about these traps is you can actually just stick to the bottom right over here and avoid them, and at the very last one, stick to the top. Mostly top left, but interestingly enough, that also worked. And we're going to be very brave and just not surface at all until we get to the very end. Because we got a good swan dive and because we avoided the traps, we should be fast enough to get to the top without losing any health.
It's also worth pointing out that whenever we can swan dive into water, we do, because that increases our swim speed for the full duration, unless we get stopped.
Yes. And it seems like the skeleton is being very nice. Shoutouts to this one skeleton. Some other ones can still be mean, so for now we'll just shout this one out. And right now, I'm approaching the level that was probably optimized the latest because we just found something cool for it very recently. And I will try to showcase it. Oops, that was kind of unlucky. So right here, we're going to take a quick little speedrun route around all this stuff. Normally you take way longer to get around, but you know, we have our own ways. So as you can see, I still keep quick saving. Okay, I actually messed up, but that's fine. So normally you're supposed to actually swan dive from the very edge of that platform, and you can roll onto the ammo and grab it by mashing interact. And normally you are not allowed to move Lara there, but you can mash grab for a little bit. And this is also... There we go, I got it. So we just found this like what, 2-3 weeks ago, maybe less.
About
So
2 weeks ago.
Alright, so normally, as soon as the platform builds up and you can control Lara again, 2 skeletons spawn that are very, very annoying and tedious. However, we found out that if you jump early enough, before the platform spawns, and you get on it right as it spawns, the skeletons will actually not spawn because you get past the spawn trigger before the spawn trigger actually activates. Because we found out that the spawn trigger for the skeletons only appears when that platform is fully built up. And this is probably the most challenging room for me in the game, so hopefully I will not mess it up. The problem is that if you fall into the water / oil, we are not really sure what this is, you have to watch the full death animation, and it's not a great time. I might actually die here, but I should be fine. Okay, I'm fine. Phew. It's also worth noting that you cannot be too fast here either, because if you're too fast and you're making your way back over here, you actually run into the firewall that follows you. And you cannot visibly see it anymore, but it's still active for a little bit. And if you're too fast, you can run into it and it's instant death. So we have to watch out for that. Alright, so that was a little bit rough around the edges, but we didn't have to reload, and we didn't have to watch a single death animation, so I'll take it. And now we're approaching the final challenge room, the wind one. This one can be quite annoying for a normal playthrough because you have to jump on small pillars, on top of small pillars that are that have round edges, and they're so small that normally you cannot grab them. Some of them, there are like these pixel perfect angles where you can grab them from, but that's just luck if that happens mostly. So again, I'm kind of just using the quick save thing. Oops. And you have to watch out over there because actually the edge of that platform has like that little slope on it, and if you get too close to it, the game just kind of sucks you into it and you slide down to your death. And we got through. But like I said, if you have to reload in situations like that, it's very quick. Also, it's worth noting that the reason why I always do grab jump into those doors because it puts me in a perfect position for me to start a sequence of jumps. Because as the doors are opening, you can kind of like bonk Lara's head into the top of them, and you can keep running jumping, so it's pretty much the fastest way to keep going. And just for safety's sake, I will pick up this med pack because it's actually pretty conveniently placed. And here we have a trap following us, but it's not fast enough to catch us. And now we're in the basement, where we have to just do a small little puzzle to make some mechanism activate at the top, which will allow us to parkour to the very, very top. Whoops. So you can turn these valves in any order you would like. It doesn't really matter as long as you activate all of them. Now it's kind of unfortunate that I chose to do this one first because I have a safe way of getting down, but not all the way down. I don't want to get all the way down. So instead, I will just drop down here and jump to this platform because we still have to get one that is over here. And it may look like you can actually make this jump without having to grab. And the truth is that you actually can, but it is literally pixel perfect. You have to set it up. Otherwise, if you get it, it's pretty much sheer luck. So I just do some interesting jump there. That pretty much makes it so that I glide along the vent instead of jumping entirely down, and that lets me take well, normally it would be less fall damage, but because the ground is close enough to me, it's actually no fall damage at all. Well, that was interesting. I just got a little bit of a game lag. That is very rare in this game, actually. I mean, it's a very old game. Lags are pretty rare. But we are done with the basement, and now we're heading up to the top. And fun fact, on these spiral staircases, you can actually do a fast run, which is it just means that you're basically running the same speed as you normally would on regular ground. But the reason why that's very good is because normally, as you saw, if you're just running on stairs, Lara just kind of starts to jog very slowly. But if you position yourself right and you do a very unique jump, you can actually start a normal run from stairs, and you can keep it going. Now it is very, very difficult on that one, but there will be one later on that where it's slightly easier actually. Well, I'm getting kind of unlucky with this platform over here. There we go. So these pillars just kind of let us parkour up to the top. So because of my mistakes, I actually got kind of an unlucky cycle, but it can happen. And here I'm trying to do something swag. And I thought I actually made it, but turns out I didn't. Okay, Lara, whatever you say. Okay, I'm too far below for this time. That is actually strange. I've never messed this up before. Guess there's a first time for everything. There we go, that's what that looks like. Now the reason why I do that is because climbing up to the platform normally is actually very, very janky. And also that was kind of one of the more difficult jumps again. So climbing up to that platform is very janky. As Tech can probably inform you guys, he once lost an entire minute in a world record attempt because Lara just completely refused to grab the ledge for no reason at all.
I lost
So
2 runs because of that in the same place.
there you go. So I came up with that side flip strat to make it more consistent, and it's still faster if you land it first try. So hey, win-win.
And I
More
thank you so
consistent
much
and
for that.
faster. Problem, it also helps me out. And now we're approaching the boss. It's a very interesting boss fight. I'm not sure. What the idea was at first, but what it turned out to be is basically it's still cool. It just doesn't make that much sense, but I guess you could still call magic and whatnot, since Tomb Raider is known for having mystical stuff in it. So what's going to be funny about this is we have a ghost that we can stun by shooting a bunch of shotgun shells in it, which will allow us to pick us a painting that we're looking for, which is important for the story. The painting is originally always in the same spot. So if you can get to it and then stun the ghost, you can pick it up pretty quickly. Okay, I got kind of trolled. So what can happen here is the ghost can sometimes get stunned very early, and sometimes he can also act like he actually got stunned even though he didn't. And I'm pretty sure the latter actually happened. So here we go. If he gets stunned during his dash... Oh, okay, that was strange. I thought the painting was still there, but apparently it wasn't. So what happens is, if the ghost is not stunned and you approach the paintings, they will switch to a different statue. Like so. So I'm getting actually kind of unlucky with the stun times. Normally I have a sequence that kind of makes sure that he gets stunned at the perfect time for you to easily tell that he actually got stunned.
Would it be worth saving when he's stunned?
I actually never tested. The problem is loading might reset the behavior of the boss, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, we'll need to put that into testing.
Yeah. So normally that only takes like half a minute, but I got like insanely unlucky and trolled very hard, so we just kind of have to accept that that happened. So our chances of actually world recording are pretty much done with that, but this can still get a good time.
On ne bouge plus!
So this card can actually be very rude and just push you around and get you stuck. And then he shoots you a lot and you cry. Luckily, we avoided him. So once again, for that guard, it's actually kind of cool that you can just keep jumping past him and he will not shoot you. So there's another guard here that I'm going to tase. You might have seen me switch weapons with the weapon cycle up key again. I did it right before I entered the door. And now we got our sprint upgrade, which lets us move way faster than normal. And this level is actually pretty short. You're just escaping the louver and getting a sprint upgrade, that's all it is. Well, we actually also got a kind of a gas mask thing, respirator if you will. That's what Lara calls them anyway. But we're not going to use it yet, we're going to use it later on. Because as it turns out, it also works underwater. So, oddly enough, if you do not pick up the pistol that is next to me, you can actually pick up an infinite amount of ammo from this source on the ground. And it's very strange, but it is not considered a glitch because it's not really our doing. It's just there. And here we have a very RNG heavy boss. So right there, he tried to troll me, but I avoided his attack. So that doesn't happen very often, but he can shoot you after his phase is over. Like, pretty much at the point where he's already supposed to be running away from you. But he can still shoot you once sometimes, and it's pretty rare, but it can happen. And that usually means there we go. That usually means interesting. That usually means that you're getting pretty unlucky, and that you might get one shot, because actually that attack he does at the end of his first phase, if you get unlucky, can drain all of your health instantly. The trick is, however, that if you react to it in time, you can actually just jump away, and he will not hit you in the air. So I kind of had to pay attention there, because if you hit one of those lasers, you instantly die because you explode, and it loses a lot of time, because just like the underwater deaths, you have to watch the full death animation, and it's very slow. And annoying. Most importantly, annoying. We're not trying to go fast, right, Keppa? So here we picked up a hammer that we can use to open up this, what would you call this? Just a vent? Trapdoor, I guess?
Like a hatch.
Hatch. Yeah, sure. So here we just kind of denied that dog from attacking us. Oh, we actually got kind of close to the water. So, interesting thing about this room is that if you manage to get inside of the room before the cutscene activates, the game will rotate you towards the door that you need to go through. Because normally you're facing the other way. But if you manage to be fast enough, then you actually get strangely rewarded. I can't believe that actually made it. I thought that was a wrong angle, but not exactly what I wanted. That's fine, we can just jump down here, and it doesn't really lose us any health. So here we just kind of spam the right arrow key to turn the clock. And if we get it to 3 o'clock, then we can unlock this secret opening. And here's another code we have to remember. You can actually abuse the crouch pickup to pick this item up that is hidden behind a painting, even without punching in the code. But that is considered a glitch, so we're not doing it. And there, I was going for the fast run that I mentioned on the spiral staircases. That is the only place where we really do it intentionally. But sadly, I didn't get it. Well, I got it for like a split second, but then it dropped for some reason. Kind of unlucky. And this is one of the reasons why we play on Japanese. This guy can softlock you on the English version. Not here, though, as far as we know.
Yes, I thought I'd give you another chance. But I want the story, the events in Paris, and whatever happens here.
Yes, DJ.
This passcode
Indeed.
will get you into the warehouse area. It's only a low-level pass, but at least
Nice
you're
pun.
inside the complex.
I can take it from there. Have you tried this code yourself?
Me? No, the place gives me the creeps.
And yes, normally you're supposed to
What goes on in there?
I'd give my innards to find out.
sneak behind these guards and dogs and just dispatch them, but
Sure
if
thing.
you don't, you have to listen to them in the background of the cutscene. And this is one of the most infamous parts of the game because of this crane, if you were a speedrunner. Now, what's infamous about it is that for some people, the sound is kind of bugged, and it is extremely loud, like unspeakably loud. Luckily, I thought of a little workaround for myself. I'm not sure why I didn't think of it earlier, but oh well, better late than never, I suppose. So what you can do to not get completely deaf from the loud noise is just put up the game volume all the way to 100, every single one, so that everything will be just equal, so that it's nice to listen to, and then drag the game volume down through Windows Audio Mixer, and that will fix the issue. And here we're yet again doing a clever little shortcut that is not intended, but has nothing glitchy about it, so we can do it. And normally, this area was pretty annoying and long because we had a bunch of block pushing to do. Now we don't really have to do any of that, luckily. Yes, replacing the sound file with Nyankat will fix the issue as well. The only problem is it's not allowed. It is banned in the speedrun.com rules to modify the game files. So right here, there's also kind of an infamous crash inside this vent. It is pretty luck-based, so I'll make a save file. Because if you get a crash on this level, the Strahov Fortress, your save file gets corrupted instantly, and there's like a 90% chance of that happening. I would say if your game crashes, then your save file will get corrupted, and you just cry a lot, basically. Because in a race or a marathon, that makes a huge difference. And I guess in a regular attempt, you would have to just reset. which is also pretty bad. Okay, so that was a bit strange. I will not save because I'm not sure if I'll get through this. I should be able to. As you saw, these guards are pretty OP. I'll just pick that up before I clip through the door by picking it up accidentally, because yes, that can happen and it's an actual strat in other categories. So the reason why these guys can deal so much damage is because their damage is entirely random. It can either deal barely any damage to you, their bullets, or they can also instantly kill you. Anywhere between that can also happen. And I think we should be fine. Yes, so just as long as I set myself up correctly. Oh, I got a little bit scared there. The game was loading for a while, which can actually mean that it will crash, but not always. Oops. And with that, we are done with the Strahov level. So those setups were actually very useful. We found them together with tech. And now we have Mr. Bathroom Break. This is a conversation where you do not have to press anything. It's effectively a cutscene.
Don't breathe, and
And we
definitely
call him
don't
Bathroom
move.
Break because obviously, since we don't have to press anything, sometimes we use it as a bathroom
Right
break.
questions. Fine. First question, who are you? Second question, what are you and your buddies up to in here?
You really don't know what the Cabal is. We are the beginning of a new order of life on Earth.
Well, I've never
It's also a
heard of
very
it.
funny conversation.
Immortal. The Cabal! We control everything here in Prague. It means that we are going to be immortal. And you are going to be dead, intruder.
Immortal. That is impressive.
Yes, we are ignorant
How are you
mortals.
going to manage that?
Meister Eckhart is about to return the Nephilim race to glory. For our part in that triumph, he will grant us immortality.
If
There
I
it
had a
is.
coconut for every time some lunatic said something
Everyone's
like
favorite
that.
line.
Your pathetic ignorance blinds you. We already have the last vital element from Turkey here in Strahov.
And that is?
The only true remaining Nephilim. The cubiculum
Thank you, Fluv.
Nephili, the sleeper. That's right. The last of the
We don't
extinct
have
race
that long
here in
of the run anymore.
Surely the
Just
Nephilim are
about
just a myth.
You
40-ish
see,
minutes, maybe 50.
ignorance. With vital essences extracted from this precious specimen, Meister Eckhart can breed the next generation of pure Nephilim. No more abomination to run amok like Boaz's proto-Nephilim. She deserved to pay for her stupidity.
Yes. Highly inconvenient having abominations running around loose, isn't it?
You have no idea.
I just love how almost every single line from that conversation can be turned into a gigantic meme. So here we're just abusing the quick save thing again. So I know when to turn around and start moving Lara. Took you 3 months to beat Boaz. It is actually a pretty tricky boss for the first time. It's not always obvious what you have to do, and even if you do know, it still can get kind of messy. Let's just call it that.
And you also have to get good fire rate as well.
Yeah, but if we're talking about a first playthrough, people are not going to spam the shoot button. They're just going to hold it down like everyone else.
True, true.
Like I did as well back then.
You did?
Yeah, I mean, obviously during the casual playthrough. Okay, that was interesting. I will reload that just in case that counts as a glitch. Because that's the rules, by the way. If you get a glitch and you didn't mean to get it, you can reload and we will just close our eyes. Because
I think that would
technically
be
you...
fine.
yeah, true, to be honest, it's not like anything that bad happened. But yeah. Whoops. So yeah, that's actually kind of interesting that we forgot to mention is if you're using a pistol weapon, you can actually just kind of not exactly full-on spam, but almost spam in a specific rhythm the action button to shoot, and that will make both Lara and Curtis fire a lot faster than normal. It is kind of well, not entirely random, but sometimes it can get random because the first bullet, whether it actually gets shot or not, is kind of random. So sometimes you can just stand there for like 10 seconds and they won't shoot at all, which is very unlucky. Here we're approaching another clever little shortcut. We're supposed to turn that valve that was to my right, but we can actually just avoid it altogether, and we don't have to climb up those pipes. We can just get up here, get to a rough visual cue, and jump from this plant, which is totally a legit platform, trust me.
Totally pun intended.
Yes, you can jump all the way over here. And here we have another little swag jump. And there we go. You're supposed to jump to the top, actually. But jumping here is faster if you land it first try. The only problem is that the parts of the vent that you can actually stand on are very, very small. Here I did a sneaky swan dive. So if you land on railings or just any kind of platform with a swan dive, Lara will roll and as she's rolling down, she will take less fall damage because she essentially starts falling later than normal. So we can kind of abuse that. It's kind of similar to how when you were crawling towards a ledge and you tap forward, Lara will pretty much like roll down, and it has the same effect except the crouching roll is way more powerful, so to speak. You only start falling with it later, only like what would you say, like half a second, maybe a second after you've actually like after you're actually supposed to fall already, you're still not falling.
Oh, half
Well,
a second?
you kind of are, but not technically. Yeah, that's about right. With the swan dive, it's not exactly that much, but it's still useful. So right here, I'm gonna try to attempt a new-ish strat. So that looks pretty good. I just need to angle myself properly. And we go. And then... Oh, come on. Will that work? Oh, not exactly. That was too much. This is kind of strange.
Not the easiest of tricks.
Yeah, the issue is that I saved on top of the railing, and I didn't know that it actually pushes you down if you quick save. It's a very peculiar thing. That should work. Oh, never mind.
The good news is you can always try it again. If
Yeah.
need be.
Oops. So some of these railings you can like jump straight at them, and you will not bonk. But okay, sorry for mashing here, but we kind of need to. There we go. So this is another shortcut. You can just land on top of the plant, which acts as a slope. And then you can jump up to the platform. So what I was going to say with the railings is that sometimes you can just jump straight into a railing and you will not bonk, but rather get boosted up. It's kind of weird. But sometimes you'll just bonk, and it's a feels bad, man, for sure. So we have picked up 2 key cards. Now we need the last one, which is okay, we somehow avoided him. I guess he's over here somewhere. There he is. He took a little bit of a detour. A little bit of a sightseeing. I guess he's appreciating the plant life over here. So we only recently decided to kill that guy last because normally we would take a small detour to kill him immediately and then climb up, but we don't really have to. I guess if you do it this way, though, you either have to get kind of lucky or pay more attention that he will not like wander off and you know where he is. So right here, we're actually going to switch characters. Sounds a bit interesting, but trust me, it's fine. Kind of. And we say it all the time, but again, in case you guys don't know, this is the original Nathan Drake. Trust me on this. I know. I'm a doctor. And I have very high knowledge of everything. No kappa, by the way. So anyway, Nathan Drake over here. Whoa, that was strange. Okay, so that's a very rare thing to happen, and I don't think I've ever seen that. So what happened right there is, as I was skipping a cutscene, the camera switched to me like punching the code in, and I was already able to press a button. And because you use interact to skip cutscenes, that made me push the number 1, which is not used in the code at all. So I just had to pretty much fail the code to get a retry. It's kind of unlucky. I've never even seen that happen, to be honest. You don't say this name in Tomb Raider things? What do you mean? This is a Tomb Raider character. It's Nathan Drake. He's a Tomb Raider character. Now, obviously, I'm joking, by the way, if any of you guys are wondering. I am joking. But they do actually have similarities. Oops, hold on, I need to fail the code because I misremembered. There we go. So what I tried to do is I accidentally tried to enter the next code that I need, actually. So I'm kind of ahead in my head, I guess. Here we're just kind of gonna hope that this guy doesn't attack us. Okay, he tried, but he failed. See ya, dude. This section is creepy. Oh, he's crawling after me. I've never seen that. Oh, God. I love this game. There's so many things that can happen. It's unbelievable. You see something new every day. Be that a glitch or something random like this happening. But yeah, these levels are pretty creepy. They're like kind of
Yeah, I've never seen that happen before.
yeah, me neither. It's crazy. Yeah, so what I wanted to say is like these levels kind of remind me of Resident Evil a little bit. Alright, let's try that again, Mr. Curtis. Not like that. Sadly, if you don't let go of the forward button fast enough, even if you let go of it and then press jump, he will still do a running jump. We're actually just going to keep crouching here because it is pretty slow to stand back up. And our crouch walking speed is actually not that slow. It always cracked me up how you have to remove a ladder in order to climb. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting thing. I guess Curtis is just not good with ladders. Don't diss the boy. He's never learned how to climb ladders. Alright, and this is the code that I actually accidentally wanted to enter last time. There we go. And I think this is the final code we have to remember, right?
That's correct. No more after this.
Okay, that was a bit interesting, but that's a very, very low chance of that happening. We're not actually sure what causes it, to be honest. It just probably has to do with some momentum stuff. But the game corrects itself, so as far as I know, it doesn't count as a glitch. So that guy in front of me actually dies in a cutscene if you trigger it, but we skip that cutscene. So if we actually walk too close to him, he will shoot us. And now we're coming up on the most exciting boss fight of all time in any game. Trust me. So this is the proto, and this is my pistol. And get ready for seeing that, because you're gonna see it for at least 2 minutes. Sadly, this is so far into the game that they didn't even have time to include proper boss music. So everything is just chill as you're having the fight of your life.
It's also a plus RNG for quick kill.
Indeed. So because the damage we deal is also partially random, not as random as the enemy guards, but it's still partially random between a few different values to make it simple. And if you get lucky, you can drain the boss's health quicker than normal and pretty much skip one of the phases altogether. The last phase, that is. And whenever the proto crawls back up into the vents, you have 3 different spawn locations where it can come back. And I'm getting the 2 slow ones right now. The fastest one is... Also, I just got a very good fire right there. So the fastest one is up there. It's kind of hard to see, but he can appear up there, and that's the fastest one. The fastest spawn point for him. So this part is kind of just RNG, just you're chilling. Yep, okay, I got 3 slow spawns. This is kind of unlucky.
Super quick. Whilst you do that, we've got $5 from Kindness Punks, who says, thank you for an amazing marathon. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the donation.
Thank you.
And if we got lucky enough, and we actually did, wow, we got the quick kill. This is called Fast Proto.
Every time.
Yes. Absolutely no kappa, definitely. So here we have some turrets that we need to get around, and we have to activate this smoke that pretty much makes it so that they cannot sense us, so that they cannot shoot at us. Otherwise, they will instantly lock onto you and drain your health very quickly.
Are you not going for the railing strategy?
Nah. It is pretty cool to see, but it can be kind of janky at times.
I guess for a marathon it's safety strats as well.
Yeah. So right there, it's a very interesting cutscene. We have to blow that explodey thing on the wall up to get rid of the turrets. And the reason why the cutscene is like that, I'm assuming at least, the reason why you hear all those gunshots is because the game kind of just expects you to use the 2 different kinds of machine guns you've obtained, because they are superior in damage. So this is just kind of like a mini cutscene that you cannot get rid of. You just have to wait it out. And once again, we're abusing the quick save strat to control Lara quicker than we can actually see her.
We have $15 from Nathan Drake, who says, "Long live Lara," and we also just got $15 from Danny117, who says, "Great AOD run so far. Didn't know AOD and Glitchless could be in the same sentence." Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That puts us, if I can math, $85 away from doubling our original goal, which is awesome.
Very, very nice. So this level is actually kind of long if you do it the intended way. But luckily, we're gonna abuse some bad janky AI and just try to ignore pretty much half of the level altogether. And I will explain why in a second. So there is a big fish monster in that area that you can see right now, in the middle part. And is supposed to be a very dangerous thing that you have to just lure away with some blood that you drop in the water so that it ignores you. But if you don't do that, he is actually supposed to chase after you and immediately kill you as he touches you. But what we found out is that even though that can happen, it has a very, very low chance of happening, and most of the time you can actually just swim right past him and not care. Just ignore his presence altogether. So the game is trying to show us that we can proceed upstairs to do what I just said, to basically drop the blood in the water so we can trick the fish monster. It's right behind me. But since we're swagging out, we don't need to do any of that. Now, as I said, the unluckiest thing for here to happen is the fish monster one-shotting you. But you can also get lucky with it. So when he catches up to you, if he does, sometimes he does, there we go, he can sometimes boost you forward. I didn't really get that much of a boost there, but sometimes he can boost you forward by a lot and not really damage you at all. So that's just kind of a convenient thing that can happen. Saves a few seconds.
We have $5 from Catalina, who says, "You're doing amazing, Dragon." Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cat. Love you. And there's the fish monster. You can have another look at him. So normally we're actually supposed to surface in the area I was just at, but even though we are going to start losing some health here, I can make it all the way to the bottom and the end level trigger will save me. So there's this nice little thing in this game. I'm pretty sure it's present in most Tomb Raider games that as soon as you complete a level, your health will completely regenerate automatically. And it happens in this game too. It's kind of interesting that I lost some health there. Doesn't really happen, but whatever. We'll take it. At least we didn't die. Whoops. Got confused for a second. So earlier I mentioned that we picked up some respirators. Whoops. There we go. Some nice menuing. Japanese. So we're actually using the respirator right here underwater to extend our oxygen meter, I suppose. And with this, we have we're pretty much in no danger of drowning. It lasts a very, very long time. And if we're fast enough, we can actually get to the very end of the level before it even runs out. Here we have a small unskippable cutscene. This is the second part of this level. And as you can tell, I still have the respirator on, even though I don't need it. But it's not really a big deal. Okay, that was very, very strange. Come on, Lara. You know you can do it. Really now. There we go. Bit of a miscalculation on my end, I suppose. But also just the strange properties of
My strength is in...
those platforms' edges. Can I beat the level before the respirator runs out? I should be able to. And like you're seeing, if you get unlucky, you can get hit by these skeletons, but you are supposed to ignore them to be as fast as possible. So what's interesting here is something that we might not ever really consider if the level design doesn't lead us here, but this chandelier is actually a sort of a pressure plate. That will open the way to get the painting. Okay, that was strange. So sometimes if you're still recovering from a jump, even if you start holding a direction plus jump at the exact same time, Lara will do a running jump instead of a standing jump or swan dive, no matter how well you do it. And we finished the level before the respirator ran out. Here we have Boaz. Infamous boss battle. So I got a pretty unlucky fire right there for a while. Seems to have cleared out though, for the most part. Oh, that was strange. Curtis decided to do some strange things. Well, that was strange how the boss didn't actually attack me. Alright, phase 2. This one is just kind of spam shoot. And if we hold forward, we can see some interesting stuff happening. And here we can get the final leg upgrade. Woohoo!
My legs feel stronger.
Oh yes you will, Lara. Yes you will. So something interesting that we like to show off at marathons, well I guess it doesn't happen if you're too far away past it, but if you quick save, that gate will keep reopening. It does not reset the timer unfortunately, so it's of no use, but it's a funny little thing. And here we're actually supposed to deactivate this trap, but with some nice movement we can get around it easily. Free time save essentially. And here I actually cannot move for a while until the cutscene is over. The cutscene wasn't showing the whole way through because I was too close to the gate. Okay, that's kind of unlucky. So the idea is here to just kind of like jump into the wall, and voila, you only take like 10% damage. Whoops. So we're gonna stun this skeleton, or knock him down rather, because we need to do a little bit of a setup and we don't want him to get in our way. Okay, that was so this setup is actually kind of precise, the first part. Yeah, there we go. But with that, you can get up here nice and fast, and we do not have to take the slow ladder. Ah, that is unfortunate. There we go. So the idea is to drop into the cage instantly. But sometimes you can overshoot it because you have so much momentum and you just instantly fall. And I'm sorry to say that this will no longer has a chance of world recording, but it can still get close to it. We're not that far behind. Around 2-3 minutes. It's actually not bad. So this is a bit of an annoying item to get, but... There we go. It just has a very, very short pickup range. And we're headed to the final boss. And now this may be pretty boring, but I assure you the very end of the game will be stylish. So you can actually just kind of crouch down this guy's projectiles. Like so. Sometimes he shoots them a little bit lower, so you have to position yourself accordingly. But I'm gonna try to also just swag it out a bit. Why not? His projectiles don't deal that much damage, and... Oh, that was a bit unfortunate. They are pretty long. Yeah, there you go. You can kind of like land on the very... Oops, that was too late. Tried to position myself and I didn't really see him. But that's fine. We still have more than enough health. So this boss fight consists of 3 phases. 1 lightning one, 1 fire, and then another lightning. Summoning his clones right now, and they will run towards the middle where I can actually attack him to stun him. And then a cutscene will activate. There we go. I think against the fire phase you always have to duck down like this, and this is not enough. Oh, never mind, it is. Okay, so it works the same way as the lightning. I was just remembering wrong. But this one is actually kind of easier to dodge than the lightning, just because it's the projectiles are shorter. Alright, he's gonna summon his clones again. So this boss fight takes approximately 5.5 minutes, I believe, around there. And then you still have to get to the top to finish the game. So last phase right now. And we just missed PB. But as I said, we're not that far behind. It's about 2 minutes. So after this phase, we just need to get to the very top, which is not as easy as it sounds because you can randomly get shot here and there, but we'll try not to. Sometimes it's also just luck based. And there we can see his majestic jump into teleport. What a maneuver. So I'm standing at this pillar on purpose, by the way, because this is where his glove will be, and corpse, but we only care about his glove, really. And I want to grab it as soon as possible. There we go. So as you can see, I'm getting shot at, but we're gonna try to avoid all the shots as possible. If possible, I mean. Luckily, we didn't mention this before, but Lara is completely invulnerable while she's interacting with something. So that could be initiating climbing a ladder, or walking towards an item to pick it up, and even the pickup animation itself. And here we have the final jump, so if when the screen fades to black, that will be time. Assuming I land it.
Alright, let me know.
Oh, not yet. Not yet. Still not yet, I got trolled. Still got trolled. Okay, let me quick save, quick load. And time.
1 hour 51:41.
It's a pretty okay time.
GG.